Okay, well, I think we almost have our top 5, but before we settle on it, I want to throw out some honorable mentions.
What about Don't Look Up?
How
about that for the top 5?
Bottom 5? Bottom 5?
I know I'm not getting that in there. That's why I haven't even brought it up.
I want to throw in some other movies that I loved. They're not going to make it, but I just want to give them some recognition, okay?
Yeah.
Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Yeah.
Might be the funniest movie
you
of
were
2021.
telling me about that, yeah.
That movie killed me. We talked about it briefly on another episode, The Harder They Fall.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked The Night House. I don't know if you saw that.
I think I missed that one. I'm not sure. I don't think I saw that one.
That was
Night
really
House.
The Night House. Did you watch Bad Trip?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, the Eric Andre.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
That was a good movie.
That was good.
That was a really, really, really nice kind of surprise in the middle of the year. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
That was good.
I just watched Maggie Gyllenhaal's directorial debut, The Lost Daughter.
I've heard that that's really good.
That was pretty good. That was pretty solid.
Yeah, I've heard that's good.
I enjoyed The French Dispatch. I kind of want to watch it again to really get a better grip on it, but that was pretty good. What else? I think that was it for honorable mentions. Oh, The Card Counter. That was really good.
Mm-hmm. Another honorable mention, though, that I watched the other day, The Tender Bar.
Oh, yeah. I need to check that out.
I really enjoyed that. And it's not top 5, but it had a really distinct, interesting look. And it was a really fun movie. It was very heartwarming. It was a really just... Yeah. Like if you're at home chilling, like straight chilling, and you just want to watch a movie that's like
let Ben Affleck
gonna warm your
drink.
heart and just it's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Okay, so we got our tight 5.
We got a tight 5. Yeah,
we got a tight 5 with the top 5.
Yeah.
How are we going to structure this? What should come in at number 5?
Yeah, so many hard questions.
We'll do the hard questions podcast.
Hard questions podcast.
I think I would put Power of the Dog at number 5.
I don't know if I would put it at number 5,
okay.
Andrew.
What deserves the number 5 spot?
The Last Duel isn't number 5.
No, The Last Duel is not number 5. Are you kidding me? That's got a 3 written all over it.
Dude, I was thinking 3.
It's a 3 spot,
man. 3. Okay. Number 5. Man, there's so many. It's so hard to rank one last because there's so many good ones. I can't rank in and of itself 5. I can't do that at number 5.
Don't make me put The Green Knight number 5. Don't make me do it.
Okay.
Now remember, this is the official list. The official list.
Right. Yeah.
We're deciding for all people.
Sure. Yeah.
We're deciding for them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Let's do Power of the Dog at 5. I'm fine with that. It's still, the 5th best.
We could dive into it, but we released a whole video on it, so we don't have to really break it down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would put Power of the Dog at 5.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, I would put In and of Itself.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with that. But In and of itself can't be 5. It couldn't be 5.
It can't be 5. It's not fair.
But 4, okay.
Yeah.
But it couldn't be 5.
For the brick ending up on the sidewalk across the street alone.
Yeah.
Makes it a top 4.
It'll make sense after you watch it.
Yeah. It'll make sense.
It'll make sense. And number 3, we've already decided.
Number 3 is The Last
Duel.
Oh, you know what? We did not ever get to record our Last Duel convo.
No, we didn't because our equipment battery died halfway through.
Okay, so we deserve to give the people a defense as to why The Last Duel is a top 3 movie.
Yeah. Well, like we were talking about before, much to our confusion, and I think Ridley Scott's confusion as well, it seems like in that interview that he released, like, I don't know why it didn't get more love. Because I actually thought it was a really smart movie. I thought that I think it would have been easy to get lost in the way that all of these movies have been done in the past. And they didn't play to that. They told the story in kind of a different way. They switched up the perspectives and told it by each perspective of the person that was involved. And I thought that it kept it really, really interesting the entire movie because it was a long movie, but also just played to that idea that like we have three vastly different perspectives, which I think is a huge...
Sometimes vastly, sometimes subtly.
Yeah.
You know? It's really interesting.
Yeah.
In the review we never released because we ran out of battery.
Yeah.
Guys, the amount of reviews we've tried to record that post podcast, like after a podcast recording, that have been cut short because Evan can't get his battery situation straight.
Wow.
It's sad. It's tragic.
Not only are you going to give me the heavy eye roll on the music comment, but you're going to call me out for my batteries too?
Think about what you said about musicals in an objective way and tell me it wasn't a little pretentious.
Andrew, tell me you haven't said something pretentious on this podcast.
I have. I have. And it deserved an eye roll. But
it's strike one, all right?
Okay.
You've already got like, you've been out for a while.
That's true.
True.
The amount of pretentious things I've said in my life is sad. It's humiliating.
Yeah, give me one, okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the first episode of this podcast, I like waxed poetic about how like reviewing films is a dialogue.
Yeah, you definitely did.
That was rough. That's where we lost everybody.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay. So The Last Duel. When I first started watching it, I remember thinking the pacing of this is weird because I didn't realize that I knew the movie was going to cut between like people's point of view and you're going to see, but I thought that was going to involve like one specific scene, not the whole movie.
Yeah.
So the movie started out, I'm like, wow, they're like going really fast. And like Adam Driver and Matt Damon went from friends to like enemies within like 2 minutes. And it was like really confusing. But then once you start to go back again and you see the same events from Adam Driver's perspective, it's like, oh, that's why it moved fast.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have this happen again. Once it was all said and done, I really liked how the point of views wasn't all truth is subjective, because yes, there is a way to make a movie where that's the point. But I thought this movie was saying something more specific, which is look at how men specifically warp events to feed their myopic kind of self-interested viewpoint.
Yeah.
And how like when you look at Matt Damon and Adam Driver's character, they take the same events and they warp it to comfort their own ego.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fascinating. And the movie makes a definitive statement on what was the truth.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that here you have a woman who in that time was so, objectified, but also like marginalized, that she's the only one who sees the system for what it really is, because she's the one who's actually being affected by it.
Yeah.
And she has no way to even try and warp things her own way, because there's no way she can get it her own way.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so fascinating to see how like these two guys are having a pissing contest and they really don't care about her fate.
Yeah. They just care about their image.
Yeah. And it's just fascinating how that happens in drastic ways, but also in like really subtle, minute ways, how their stories differ.
Yeah. Also, I mean, the big duel scene that the movie is named after. Really great scene. But I thought, one of the best parts about it was they did not make it cool. They did not make it like it was brutal. And they showed it.
You like need a shower afterwards. You're like,
basically it was like the way that it was done made it feel like, everyone's going to feel like this was the honorable thing to do. Everyone's going to say that like this was the way for you to clear your name, but like there's nothing honorable about this. Like it's nasty. Like it's brutal. Like, and it's, one person killing another. So it's like, I thought that scene, they showed the brutality of it, which I think was good. And I mean, it was really beautifully shot. So it was interesting the whole time. But
my boy Ridley does something really cool where the movie opens on like the setup of the duel. And it's filmed like in this really grand, I don't know if operatic is the right way, but it's really grand. Like every little thing you see seems like it carries so much weight, and it looks epic. Epic's the word I'm looking for.
There you go. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I can't wait till we get to that.
Yeah.
And then by like teasing you with like that epic setup, when it comes back around and you've seen the story, you've seen how marginalized this woman's become, when it gets to the duel and you see how this whole thing is just a petty pissing contest, putting this woman's life at stake, and you see how pathetic the duel actually is. I mean, it's shot really well. It's, played out in an interesting way, but it's not indulgent.
Yeah.
And so like when you watch it and you're like, oh, I feel gross. It's like, oh, he really got me with that setup.
Yeah. And I feel like it's, it just speaks to that idea of like, I mean, we do this so much in our lives where it's like we hear a story that's tragic or, something happens and, it doesn't affect us. So like we don't care much about it. It's because we don't have the perspective of knowing the people or knowing the story very much. And so it's like at the beginning of the movie, we see a duel that's about to happen. And we're like, whoa, cool. Like a cool fight scene, like a cool duel. And you get all the way through the movie and you have all that perspective finally of really Jodie Comer's character and what she's been through and kind of, I don't know. I felt like her perspective may have been a little bit more truthful, or a lot more truthful. Yeah. But, you have that added perspective and you see that battle isn't cool. It's not like showy. It's not like necessarily something to be proud of. I guess it's kind of at the end of the day, just brutal and,
Yeah. Yeah. Real quick. It's just so sad how for both Matt Damon and Adam Driver's characters, their concern had nothing to do with her well-being. Yeah. It was all about their own image. Matt Damon wants to make sure everyone knows he's not, a guy whose wife would rather have another man. Yeah. Like it's all about his honor. And even Adam Driver, he framed it as this, oh, we're two lovers with this unrequited love and we just have to get it out of our system. And even though he's painted this as he loves her.
In the different perspectives too, one thing I loved about the movie was there were just some amazing details. Yeah. Like we were talking about in the different perspectives, you see the same thing happen, 2 times or 3 times, but they'll change subtle little details, even if it's just like how they said one thing. It's like they say it with a different inflection, or like the shoes is a great example of that. In the one scene,
or there's the scene where Matt Damon and Jodie Comer, they go to see Adam Driver outside at that like little get together, and Matt Damon and Adam Driver have that little like kind of like patching things up. Yeah. And Matt Damon and Jodie Comer are dancing, and Jodie Comer like acknowledges Adam Driver in the distance, and from his point of view, she was like giving him like a flirtatious look. Right. Whereas from her point of view, she was just like talking to Matt Damon, pointing at him and like kind of like going like, oh, isn't that guy kind of full of himself or something? Like she was just pointing at him. Right. Yeah. But anyway, it's just a really interesting look about how societies value image more than truth. And it was just executed really well.
Yeah. And we're just kind of scratching the surface of it, because there's a lot of layers that involve just kind of like, one of the most fascinating parts of the movie was just their belief that God wouldn't allow someone who's lying to lose the duel, which I thought was one of the most fascinating parts of the film. Yeah. Is just kind of how they mess around with that idea of back then, God wouldn't allow someone that was not telling the truth to live through a duel. So therefore, if you win the duel, you were telling the truth the whole time.
How the system's like rigged. Like, well, with they were saying how a woman can only get pregnant if she enjoys sex. And so if Jodie Comer got pregnant, then therefore it wasn't rape because she would have enjoyed it. It's like, it's
the
just
system's
rigged. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So I thought there was a lot to that movie, and I've just been surprised that it hasn't gotten as much traction as I thought it deserved.
Yeah, I agree. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely recommend.
Yeah, it's really
going
good.
Out.
Some super, really, really tough scenes in there. Tough scenes to watch. Battle scenes and just different scenes. Yeah. So go in prepared. But
you should be warned. There is a very graphic scene.
Yeah. That's tough.
Depending on your background, you should be warned going before you watch a movie with that kind of
really
kind of scene in it.
Really difficult scene to watch. But overall, I think speaks to that that kind of toxicity of how we view ourselves and what's important to us, and kind of the lack of humanity, especially in that era.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, number 2 would be The Green Knight then.
Yeah.
Yep. I would leave number 2.
I'm totally fine with that.
I don't want to spend too much time on it because I'd rather just direct you to my 17-minute video essay where I break down the themes and the message of the film.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's a really, really interesting it's a coming of age story. It's about a young aspiring knight who is more obsessed with the glory and fame of knighthood than the actual, as his lover Essel puts it, you're more obsessed with glory than you are with goodness.
Yeah.
And it's about a young man learning that there's more to life than just having songs written about you and being famous and having paintings made. And there's
stories to tell.
There's the actual hard work of being a good person. Yeah. And honestly, it's really, when I dug into the film, it's a movie about how every person needs to face the idea of the inevitability of death, and how confronting your own death actually humbles you.
Yeah.
And the key to being a person pursuing goodness is accepting the fact that you will die one day and glory and fame will die with you. And can you face death with nothing but the purity of your own heart?
Yeah.
And I found it visually and thematically a really interesting film.
Yeah, I think especially the ending, and I guess I don't want to say too much because I don't want to, spoil it if somebody wants to watch it.
Exactly how it ends.
But, I mean, the ending, I think, just says a lot about that. Like, it asks you to sort out those priorities of what's important to you. Is it important to you to have a long life that maybe you're sacrificing your goodness for?
Yeah.
A long, kind of legendary, air quotes, life that may be a lie, or that you may harbor some resentment towards yourself with, or would you rather die with goodness in your heart? Yeah. And I think that's a huge swing for a movie to take.
Yeah.
Just that, asking the audience
it's
to go along with that. But I think, I said earlier, The Green Knight, it does not insult you at all by assuming that you're it doesn't sit around explaining every little thing. It kind of for lack of a better term, it kind of puts you to work.
Yeah.
Where it's okay, you have to follow along with these themes and go with what we're trying to say, and get along with the story, and really take in the visuals that they're giving you. And you were talking about with Old that M. Night Shyamalan's doing a lot in the area of visual storytelling.
Yeah.
But I think The Green Knight does that a lot, where there are a lot of there are big spans of time where there's not a whole lot of dialogue, and they're just using visuals to tell the story. And really beautiful visuals.
Yeah. It's don't go in thinking it's this medieval adventure film. It's more of an internal adventure and a character study of this young wannabe knight becoming a man of legend and what that means, and glory versus goodness. And so the ambiguity of the ending really forces you to think and contemplate. And so it's a movie that if you're going to watch it, make sure you have some time to kind of digest it, honestly.
Yeah. Don't watch it late at night.
Don't watch it really late at night.
Yeah.
Unless you're an insomniac.
Yeah.
And nothing's going to put you to sleep. Okay, so let's bring this home with our number one. Dune, baby. Again, we have a 40-minute video breaking down Dune.
Yeah.
So I don't want to dive too deep into Dune, but I want to ask you, why is Dune worthy of being our number one film of 2021?
I think that it is one of the rare movies that is made by one of the rare filmmakers. And I think Denis does this. I think Christopher Nolan does this. They have this ability to couple huge ideas and worlds and just like giant budgets and just like these
giant butts.
just these giant butts. Just these giant blockbusters of movies with this really tender, like human story, and they bring it down to earth and they make it palatable and digestible. Yeah. And it's this huge world and it's this crazy thing with all these huge stars in it and everything. But he somehow is able to kind of bring it all down to earth and make it to where you can digest it and be moved. Yeah. And also, be able to see it and have it be all the things that you want a giant blockbuster to be and all the things that you want kind of a tender-hearted kind of human story to be. And I think those things coupled together make it a great movie. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was just beautifully made, and the story was just told very thoughtfully and patiently, and it paced itself. It didn't rush anything. Yeah. And they kind of, at the end of the day, they kind of gambled on themselves too with this. And I think it's going to pay off in a huge way. Yeah. And I love all those things about that.
Yeah, for me, when I think about 2021 being the return to the movie theater, I don't think there's a better movie from this past year that really cements that idea of when I was in the Dolby Theater watching Dune on the IMAX screen, I was just in awe. It's a movie meant to elicit awe from you. Yeah. And how it's shot on location with, not literal on location, on a distant planet. But in the desert. Yeah. With an IMAX camera. Denis fully utilizes the IMAX frame. Yeah. And is constantly using scale in his favor to show the story about how to wield power. And it's about two different families and how they use power differently. And about, literally controlling a planet and bending a planet into your will. So all these ecological ideas, there's these political ideas, and they put those big ideas in this big frame. And it just was I was just reminded of how much I love the movie theater while watching Dune. And so it's of course it's the best movie for me.
From top to bottom, man. The acting was amazing. The storytelling, the visuals, the locations, the music, just it was just a really, really solid film that I enjoyed so much, and definitely could have gone to see it in the theater and then come right home and watched it again on HBO Max immediately. Yeah. So
I hope it gets back on the HBO Max sometime soon.
Me too.
Because I've been itching to watch it again.
Yeah, me too.
I might just have to buy the Blu-ray. Honestly.
Might as well.
Yeah,
might as well. No.
Well, that was 2021. That was our top 5.
Yeah. And it was just a year full of really great movies, and I feel like we still have so many to go from 2021, but not to say that this top 5 is the end all be all top 5. No, it is. But it's our our top 5 at the moment, So
yeah, well, that was 2021. Here's to another year. See you later.